this week, so we thought it'd be cool to jump on and do a live video. So if you're tuning in, I'm Andrea Mueller. I help with our marketing, social media, some of our fleet communications, and I've been here for 10 years at Prime as of May. So Eric's newer. Tell us about yourself.
Just under 3 years with Prime, and one of these days I want to interview her so you guys can all hear what she's like Grand Central Station for anything communication. I think she gets probably.
I get some random questions, yeah. But it's fun to be able to connect right people, especially when it's something that I'm like, hey, I don't have to do this, but I know who can help you with this.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that wouldn't happen without her, and she's got an interesting story. But anyway, yes, Eric, I team drive with my wife, Jenna. We've been with Prime for just under 3 years, and it's been such an incredible journey. And Andrea had reached out last night, yeah, and
saw
said
your great
that
fire nice.
So maybe we should do a live. And I thought, in hearing the conversation in the safety meeting this morning, which is on the Prime channel, you can go see that. The replay is probably ready by now. Hearing them talking about the opportunities, I texted Andrea before I left Prime and said, hey, we should really talk about this, because Prime is such an incredible place to expand and to set goals and work towards those goals through any way that you want, or not any, but a lot of ways that you might want, versus a lot of mega carriers that funnel you into one path.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. So
yeah. Thanks everybody that's tuning in and commenting. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll try to get those covered. But yeah, the cool thing about Prime that I like, we're a huge company, which some people are like, mega carrier, bad. Like, you're evil.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And I can see why people think that, but there's so many positives to being a big company, and I feel like we still kind of run as a small company in some ways. Like the driver meetings, being able to just talk with any manager that you want, the owner, have questions, there's accountability and transparency. But we have obviously the CDL training program, which you didn't start here, right? You came from
I did.
Oh, you did?
Here, yeah.
Okay.
Through
So
PSD.
you and Jenna?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
trained her.
Awesome. That's what we were just talking about before this, is that we have a lot of spouses that train their spouse. So that's an option. So CDL training, we hire CDL school graduates. We hire people from other companies. We have company driver and independent contractors. You can start your own fleet, which is what you're doing, right? Under Prime's authority.
Yeah, it's funny you say that Prime is like a small, big company, because I often say this on my own YouTube channel, that I've never once felt like I worked for a trucking company. And that's so weird, because obviously Prime, with 10,000 or so trucks, is obviously a trucking company. But for some reason, I always felt like it would feel different, like that I actually worked for it. You see the other mega carriers out there, and I don't know, I've never felt like I worked for a trucking company, and I think that's a testament to the culture that is behind Prime, to make you feel like you're part of a family versus just a truck number, which ultimately we are kind of a truck number, but we're a part of something, and you always feel that way. So that's amazing. I'm staring.
Sorry, yeah, we got questions down here.
The comments are on the table.
Do you know this? Somebody asked this, which is a good question, and I said that I would get it. Heathen's Trucking. So waiting. Can you have a small fleet inside of Prime and a single truck on your own authority? Have you?
I believe so, yes. In fact, I think you can take a truck. You want to check with Success Leasing. The internet is full of, I'm right 100% of the time, 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Check with Success Leasing, but I believe that you can have your own truck under your own authority while also having trucks at Prime. And I think you can even take a truck that's not fully paid for outside of Prime. But check with Success Leasing for the best information.
And I actually was thinking about this yesterday. We're going to do a recruiter Q&A with one of our newer recruiters, Ashley, pretty soon. But I'm going to try to get somebody from Success Leasing to do another Q&A, because there's always so many good questions with that. That's the only thing I don't like about live chat. You can't go back and respond specifically to that, but I will try to get that and then comment in the replay with that answer. Do company drivers have the choice to choose what truck they want? And if so, do you guys have the P4 lightweight available? So company drivers, you don't really get a choice. If you're going refrigerated, and you're going to be solo as a company driver, they typically try to put you in a lightweight. But I was a recruiter, and I had a driver one time upset because there wasn't any lightweights available, and they wanted to put them in a condo when you make 5 cents less. So it just depends on truck availability. All of our trucks are automatics. They're all 2019 or newer. In flatbed, they don't use lightweight trucks, and in tanker, they only use them in like the dedicated route. But typically, if your company is solo driver and refrigerated, you'll usually get placed in a lightweight. You can request a condo if you're going to train, or if you're going to have like a permanent passenger, and they'll do their best to accommodate that.
Jenna, who is my other half, says it feels like Prime is the Apple campus of trucking. Yes, that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on here. So I did that TikTok video recently showing off the Millennium Building. It had to be under 3 minutes, and I struggled to get everything in. And then I realized I had left out multiple things out of that video because there's just so much here.
That's a good one on the LLC.
It's not Prime that sets up the LLC. It's through Abacus that will help. So yeah. So if I don't know what the original question was. Oh, does Prime set up the LLC? So we work with Abacus CPA. They're an accounting firm. They're not owned by Prime, but they're inside of our terminal here. You don't have to go through them. You can go through your state or another accounting firm to set up your LLC, but you will do that on your own, either through Abacus or an outside firm. And we highly encourage people to get their LLC.
Well, while some of the questions roll in and she can take a look there, on the topic that we started with, so I came to Prime intending to be a company driver. And that was less than 3 years ago, and now Jen and I have 2 trucks coming with a 3rd truck coming next year. And that's one of the things I love about Prime is that you have so many opportunities. There's not just one path you can take. You can be a company driver if you need that consistent paycheck with the benefits. You don't want to have to run a business of your own. You can go standard lease, which you can walk away from at any time with a lease completion bonus and run a business that way. Or you can buy a truck with very simplified and easy avenue to be able to do that, where it's all kind of financed sort of through Prime. No big credit checks or banks or anything involved. It just makes it very easy for you to run your own business and own your own truck or multiple trucks. So there's just so many ways that you can go about it, and you can start somewhere and switch and end somewhere else, start a company, end with owning, or go the other direction, and that's just really amazing. I don't see that in any other mega carrier or company out there.
Yeah. Like lightning bolts or flames. I love when somebody asked about TikTok if we got flagged. I just haven't done a video because that one, we got over 1,000 comments on that video, and I was trying to keep up and I gave up. But TikTok has a lot of trolls, and yeah, we're gonna put one out today. So if you're on TikTok, check us out. But there's several questions about where we're hiring from, New Mexico, and I saw another state. We are hiring from all lower 48 states, including all of Florida. So we used to only hire from northern and central Florida, but we, as of this summer, are hiring from all of Florida. Refrigerated and flatbed pretty much has opportunities in all lower 48 states. Tanker is primarily Missouri and East, and intermodal is in spots across the country. If you're interested in intermodal, I saw somebody asking about Kansas City. If you'll shoot me an email at communications@primeinc.com, or if you're a current driver, just reach out to me through the app. We can get you on a waiting list if there's not a current position open, but there are several in the intermodal opportunity currently.
And there's an amazing new tanker-based terminal being built in Illinois. It's a legit terminal that they're building up there, so it sounds like there's going to be a lot of tanker business.
They're going to have, there's also a regional opportunity out of that as well, out of Manuka, Illinois, so if you're interested in that, definitely hit us up. What's up, Eric? You were one of the biggest influences of me switching from company flatbed to lease reefer. Nice.
We'll see how that is in a month.
Yeah. He's 2 weeks in?
You may be mad at me. Yeah, I think he's a couple weeks in.
Okay, this is a good question. Do you offer health insurance for lease ops? So, no, we do not, unfortunately. We had to kick everybody off. That was when I was HRO, so like 8 years ago, I think is when that happened. There is opportunities through that outside company that I'm blanking on right now. Do you guys use that?
Yeah, I don't, because Jenna has Prime company benefits, but the outside provider that Prime recommends or sends you is
Enrollment First?
It's actually really good comparatively for 1099 independent contractors. I was really surprised with, obviously you would like to have it as good as what Prime offers company drivers. But that's not the world we live in right now
Enrollment.
as independent contractors. But it's pretty legit insurance, and I think it's very competitive for what you would find if you like own the lawn business or something out there and were self-employed. I think it's pretty good package.
Jenna said enrollment first. Yes, that is it. And if you're interested in that, you can. I'm so sorry. I just tried to Diet Coke. You can reach out directly to our Human Resources Department, even if you don't work here, and they can get you more information. We also have it on our website under Drive for Prime. You can download the packets for both company driver benefits and for the independent contractor options. Good question here for you. I want to start a mini fleet. Do you have to have one truck paid off before they will let you do a second lease, or can you have multiple leases with drivers?
No, you don't have to have well, you can't have more than one standard walkaway lease. As soon as you move from standard walkaway lease to ACE 2 lease, I believe it's called.
I didn't even know that. I thought you couldn't have two leases at the same time.
Yeah,
But you would know better than I do.
when
You're
you
literally
move to-
going through it, right?
When you move to a lease purchase, you can have as many trucks as you can pay Success Leasing $14,000 down for, or less after it goes down by $1,000 a year with a minimum of $8,000. So if me being with Prime for 3 years, my deposit's now $11,000. So if you can do that times 15, you can have 15 trucks, but you can only be doing lease purchase. You can't be doing a standard lease, and there's kind of a little bit of difference there. A standard lease, you don't have that $14,000 deposit, so when you walk away, you don't lose that investment. Once you do a lease purchase, you can still walk away, but you lose that initial investment. So there is more of a commitment involved with lease purchase, but once you move to that, you can immediately. Well, I ordered 2 trucks before I even have my first lease purchase truck. So yes, once you make that switch to lease purchase, there's no limitation. The only limitation is financial in terms of what you can afford in deposits.
Tacos $1 said, how long after I apply do I have to get the CDL permit? So your applications, if you're applying for a driver position, are good. They're valid for 30 days. So if we run reports on your file to get you approved, they expire after 30 days and we have to run them again and they cost money. So we try to get you started within 30 days. So we'd like you to get it within, a matter of a few weeks. There's lots of free study guides. How'd you guys study for the permit?
We use CDL Prep.
That's the number one app we hear about.
And it was almost entirely accurate. And the questions, now it was different when I came through. We all tested out in Missouri and got a Missouri license and then went and switched. So now you do it in your own state and the tests vary a little bit, but the questions were almost word for word in CDL Prep. It's a great free app. It takes you through the test.
And DMV Genie, thanks Bolston.
DMV Genie.
Yeah, that's the second one. CDL Prep and DMV Genie, they're both free, and they're both apps. Some people try to get the manual and from their state, which can be hundreds of pages, and it can be overwhelming. So I would suggest those apps, and you only need to study the 3 main sections, which are general knowledge, air brake, and combination, and then Prime asks you to get the tanker endorsement as well. No passenger, no hazmat, not required.
Rich asked, do you recommend starting LLC at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year? So first of all, you should talk to Abacus or whoever your CPA is. I don't recommend running a truck without an LLC. There's some liability issues there that you want to make sure that you're protected against, and that helps you begin to establish your business credit, which Prime doesn't do. Your lease is not reported to any credit agency, so you have to do that on your own. You have to go start get your own business bank accounts, which you need an LLC for, and start building that on your own. I recommend you do that right away. But again, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax professional.
I did go to college for accounting, and I switched majors because I got a D in tax accounting. So don't take any advice from either of us.
Yeah, if you want my opinion on what I do, that's what I do.
And you provide a lot on your channel, driver lineup, if you guys are interested. We're currently on Prime's channel right now, but he's got a ton of videos where I'm sure you go more in depth about that. All right, being that I live in Maine, will I be dispatched out of Pittston? So maybe. So if you're coming through our training program, typically your fleet manager is going to be your trainer's fleet manager. I say typically, that's how it works. That way you're all on the same team, you're on the same fleet. Once you upgrade into your own truck, you typically keep that same fleet manager unless your trainer was leased and then you're going to go company or vice versa. because we have company, driver, fleet managers, and then independent contractor ones. So it just depends, but we try to pair you up with a fleet manager from a terminal close to your area. It's not guaranteed though. It doesn't really matter because you take your trucks home anyway. Whereas like some companies, you have to go back to your home base. We don't operate like that. Our drivers take their trucks home.
After a PS.
Oh, great question. Bulls fan. After PSC passes the CDL exam, does Prime send license to home or DMV? You know, I don't know the question. I was actually thinking they were saying the scores. So once you pass your CDL exam, you're going to test out with your permit from your home state, and then we electronically transfer your scores to your home state DMV. So you'll never have like a Missouri or PA CDL just because you tested out there. My understanding is that the DMV sends it to the home, but I don't know. Do you know?
Texas did mail it to me, yes.
Directly
Yeah.
to your home.
Yeah.
So it may depend on your state. Each state is kind of different. So I'm sorry. I don't have a good question. I don't have a...
Junior says,
100%.
are you missing your truck so bad that you had to go back to Prime just to sit in a truck? It's funny, I thought that I would really enjoy this not having a truck, but I'm getting really antsy, you guys. I'm getting really antsy. I'm ready to drive.
Jenna misses it too. Can you post the link to his channel? It's just...
If you just go on
Driver
YouTube
lineup,
and
right?
type in driver lineup, 2 different words, it should be the first one that comes up.
My Trucking Venture said, would you guys know how many miles our company drivers are averaging weekly? So what is your take from hearing from people? Do you follow that at all?
I don't. They may have mentioned that in this morning's Prime. I know they talked about company pay this morning, and so I go watch the replay of the Prime video this morning, and then if they didn't answer that question, her team is pretty good with answering comments, so just leave that down in the comments below, and
Yeah.
you can probably.
And I
get an
know
answer.
we pulled 13-week averages. Like we have a report in recruiting, so if you call the recruiting department, if you're watching this later, the video or the recruiting department can be reached at 888-664-9121, or just Google Prime Inc. recruiting and the number should pop up. And they can tell you what people are averaging. For refrigerated and flatbed, we typically see 2,400 to 2,600 miles per week for solo drivers. Tanker's going to run less, and that's why they get paid the most cents per mile, is because they run the least miles on average. You also will have to do less training miles if you're coming through our PSD program. If you're going through the tanker division, it's 25,000 for TNT instead of 30,000.
My average solo lease was $2,350,
Yeah, so pretty close.
and that was plenty.
Was enough. What do you guys hit as a team?
As a team, well, this is kind of sad, but we do about
Currently
4,100 miles usually. Jen and I actually like to life on the road, so. But
I feel like I'm seeing you every day on videos. So.
You can do way more than. Don't take that as a. Don't be scared thinking you're not going to get the miles.
But you still make money with running 4,100.
Oh, we make excellent money. Yeah, on that 4,100 miles, we're doing probably between 7,500 and 10,000 a week in revenue, which I think is crazy excellent.
Yeah, our rates have been really good, which is what we're seeing. More drivers being able to take off more time because the rates are so good. Chris said, I just hit 3,800 miles solo last week. Is that even possible?
So you clearly had your first load from the last week and your last load into the next week.
Like, because I've only ever heard of 3,000 legally with e-logs.
Yeah, what that probably means, guys, is that that individual had a short week the week before that or the week after it. So sometimes you're going to have crazy great weeks, but the next week or the week before can't be that crazy because it's just the way the loads fall.
On the payroll week, which was Wednesday to Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
The Texas DMV told me to keep tanker endorsement. I need to do road test and a tanker due to new law. Does Prime facilitate this? I haven't been told. I have never heard that specifically, but with Prime, we have all 3 trailers to test out with, so that shouldn't be an issue. We have a tanker trailer if that's necessary. Have you ever heard that? Oh, and we also don't have the tanker division out of Texas for the most part, so shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not. I have a Texas CDL, and I'm not aware of that at all. It was
Especially
just,
for the written part.
Yeah, it was just a little written part for the endorsement. So
Yeah.
I'm not aware. Texas hasn't notified me of anything. So I don't,
Yeah, for the tanker endorsement that we ask all of our drivers to get, that's a written test. It's, I think, 25 questions, and it's really easy to pass from what I'm told.
And the reason for that, I see that question all the time on my YouTube. We still haul in refrigerator. We still haul a lot of liquids in tanks inside the trailer, and that's why you have to have your tanker endorsement, even if you're pulling a refrigerated box.
Yeah, that's a lot of confusion. And if people are coming in on flatbed, sometimes they're like, I'm not ever gonna touch that. Well, we have a lot of people like who was on here, that JDQ, that switched from flatbed to reefer. And I talked to somebody last night that had a lease payout dinner. He switched from flatbed to reefer. So we just want you to have it so that we don't have to worry about it later, going back to your home state and stuff like that. There's a good question here about they're coming from the military and they have their CDL. So if you currently in the military, retiring next year and already have a CDL, what's the training requirement? So if you have your CDL but no recent experience, you're going to go through the training program and do the full thing. Currently for a prime safety department, if you don't have any experience in like regional or at least 5 states or more in the last year, you have to go through the training program. I don't know if that made sense. Did it make sense?
Mm-hmm. Thought driver lineup would be interviewing. I'm going to try to convince her to let me interview her next week. I want to bring in some more equipment and yeah, we'll see.
How can I bypass one recruiter and get another one? So we have 20 recruiters and we're all incentivized on our hires. So we try to keep you with the same one for a couple reasons. That way you have clear communication. We know what's going on, what conversations you've had. But if you're having an issue, the second part is the incentive. So they're paid on the work that they've done on that file for hiring you. And so if you have an issue, try to work through it. If you can't get through the recruiter, sometimes they're on vacation and maybe didn't communicate that or something, just reach out to us at communications@primegeek.com. We'll check into your file and see what's going on. Sometimes our phone number for Prime shows up as spam for some vendors. So there's various reasons that it may look like we're not communicating, but we're trying to, and it's not coming through. Our emails also go to spam sometimes. We're trying, but let us know. We can reassign if needed.
Do you know what company drivers make per mile in lightweight?
Yeah, so if you're driving a lightweight truck, it's 53 cents per mile in the refrigerated division. And if you're in a full-size condo truck, which has 2 beds, 2 seats, a little more space, it's going to be 48 cents per mile. They just increased those rates 2 cents as of last month.
And my trucking venture is I'm hoping Prime can match the money it was making with the same support at my other company. I tell you guys, Prime support is, in my view, unmatched. I did a video. Every once in a while, you'll see someone complain about the 72-28 split for lease operators. That's not Prime giving me 72%. That's me paying Prime 28% for this massive operation here, and the support is incredible. Go back and watch the meeting on Prime, the video before this on Prime's channel, and see that interaction and them talking about all the vendors that were in the back of the room, Carrier and that makes our APUs, and they're all there supporting drivers. There were fleet managers there involved.
We have about 1,800 people nationwide that work for Prime that are non-driving.
That are the support. That's
and we have
the
8,500 drivers. So
it doesn't matter what it is. She has. I don't know if your sister works in payroll. I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
That's okay.
Well, she was
Amanda,
on the live too.
Yeah.
But
don't tell anyone she's my sister. No, my little sister's Amanda Cease. She works in payroll. Her husband works in Road Assist, Jesse Cease. And I have 3 brother-in-laws in the shops, Isaac, Zach, and Jacob. So it's a legit family.
I'm so glad that wasn't a secret. But it's just amazing. There's someone who can answer any question or get you help with any problem. Steve Wucky in the past has made the mistake of putting his cell phone number on YouTube videos, which hopefully never does that again. But I'll tell you, he has taken my call at 5:30 in the morning when I was stuck at a Smithfield pork plant for 4 days and moved mountains to make magic happen. Now, you don't need Steve Wucky to solve all those kinds of problems, but the point is there's amazing infrastructure behind you and support, and you see that everywhere you are here at the terminals. You just feel it all around you. It's amazing.
When we did that TikTok video recently showing off the facility, we got a whole bunch of troll negative, make a carrier, give that money to drivers, whatever. We've increased our company driver pay 9 summers in a row find another company that's done that 9 years in a row. And our independent contractors, the percentage doesn't change based on what we do with our facilities. The percentage has been 72 for 20 years, I think. So you get a direct cut of the rate from the customer, and we don't go, oh, hey, we built this building, now give us that. No, that's like not how it works. So yeah, Robert invests. It's sometimes slow. Sometimes people are like, we need a terminal here and here and here. And that would be cool, but it does, yeah, Texas, Florida, Georgia, we're looking, New Jersey, but it's strategic. So we want to provide facilities where we can and make sure it makes sense in the long run and that enough people use it. But yeah, this facility, people gave me crap because they're like, there's no drivers in the videos. Clearly this is just for office people. And I was like, okay, I shot the video like close to me, but
There's drivers
everywhere. Like, they're primarily using it. We get 1,300 trucks on average through Springfield every week. So,
I don't know if you answered that question. Can you choose?
yeah, great question. Can I choose which terminal to go to for orientation? You can. We tried to send you to the one closest to you because, especially if you're going through the training program, you're going to have to get back home after training. And like if you're renting a car or having somebody pick you up, it's easier to be closer. But we have some people that are like, hey, I'm going to train with my dad or cousin or whoever, and they want to pick me up in the Springfield terminal. That's fine. Just ask your recruiter. We'll try to make it work. If we're paying for your transportation, that's the only time that we sometimes care. If it's going to be, a ton more to send you if you're coming from Maine, you want to go to Salt Lake City, then it may be questioned, but we try to accommodate when we can.
What is average pay for company? Go watch the last video.
Yeah,
on
the driver
Prime's
meeting.
channel.
This morning, driver meeting, they covered company driver pay.
Yeah, the company and lease was covered pretty extensively in the video before this one.
And I was monitoring the comments, so I would quote off what they said, but I wasn't paying close enough attention.
30 versus 60,000.
Randy said, is it 30 or 60 for the trainer? So for TNT, we lowered it back to the rates. It used to be 50 and 60,000 for about a year, but prior to that, for several years, it was 30,000 and 40,000. So it's 30,000 TNT training miles if you're coming through it as a D seat, which means you're coming into Prime with no recent experience and no CDL, or you have a CDL and no recent experience. Your recruiter can clarify that for you. But if you're coming from a CDL school where we don't know what specific training you've had, you're going to do 40,000. You'll do a 3-day orientation and then 40,000 training miles. The reason we only require 30 for if you're coming through our Prime training program is because we know that you've had at least 2 to 4 weeks typically on that first phase with your permit of training before you go into the second. So it's usually about 10,000 miles.
Thank you for the referral.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, what's your driver code? If
ODOMEJ, and I am not shameful. I love having referrals. If you go to my videos, I work with Barbara, and she was Jenna's recruiter, Barbara Brown. Her contact information is underneath our videos. She's an amazing recruiter. I'm not shameful at all. I love to have referrals, and on my videos you can see my cell phone number, so you can text me. Jenna and I talk to almost all of our referrals. Andrea lets us know who our referrals are. She gives us their driver codes, and we want to communicate and ask questions and be helpful. So,
and that's why we like referrals at Prime, is because typically there's that kind of mentorship, somebody to reach out to that's a current driver that knows what's going on, just in case there are questions that come up. It's nice to have that built-in support system.
I was actually told by the oh my gosh, what's his name? The recruiting Travis. He told me that something like 33% of Prime's drivers were referred.
It's a lot. I pulled it this year. We have over 843 drivers have been referred
This year.
So that's probably about right. It's 30. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's current drivers convincing almost 1,000 drivers to come over. That speaks volumes right there, guys.
Yeah, and we last year I think we paid, what was it, $495,000 in driver referrals. So it adds up. Okay, there was somebody questioning anything yet on the CPAP machine. So we're working, they talked about that this morning actually in the driver meeting as well, because somebody commented a question on that. We're still working, not me, Heather at Cardinal Sleep is still working really hard to get machines in. They've been able to get, I think it's over 200 new masks to replace the ones that have been recalled. If you haven't already, definitely reach out to her. She's been registering machines for the recall and helping drivers as much as possible. from what I've been told, they're trying to help people that have more severe cases of sleep apnea first to make sure that they're, taken care of before people with the lighter side of CPAP. So if you have any questions, reach out to Heather at Cardinal Sleep. I think their website is cardinalsleep.net.
Nick wants to know if you can still train on manual. Do you know?
No, unfortunately, unless you get with Junior. I think Junior Honduras is one of the few that have a manual left. His first truck that he bought is a manual transmission. But we transitioned to automatic starting in 2015, and we are near 100% automatic. So unfortunately, we can't. The good thing is that majority of the industry is no longer using manuals. You'll usually see them in the smaller owner ops and like mom and pop fleets. But most mega carriers have also moved to automatics.
Someone's asking about the dry vans at Prime. I don't know.
We don't actually, sorry. I had a snack right before that. I'm all messed up. I didn't eat breakfast. I gotta eat breakfast. Okay. We don't have a dry van division. Sometimes we'll run the reefers without the reefers going if a customer pays us enough to. But we have refrigerated, flatbed, tanker, and intermodal. No dry van.
I think that's all the questions.
Okay. I did tell him that I wanted to keep this short. It's right over 31 minutes. We usually go too long and we start repeating ourselves. But if you're interested in coming to Prime, if you're convinced by Eric to come in, you can apply online at primeinc.com. Make sure you list his driver referral, or you can just list driver lineup if you forget his code. But yeah, we'd love to talk to you. We have recruiters fully staffed Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 Central Time. And then on the weekends, we have a couple recruiters available from 9 to 5 Central. You can also comment below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Or you can message me at communications@primeinc.com. Or you can check out his channel and text him, bug him and Jenna, about any questions that you have. They're really good about helping build the community here.
Yeah, and someone ask if you can add a referral after applying. Yes, you can. You can contact your recruiter and go add that. And it's not just mine, guys. If anybody out there is helpful to you, find out what their driver code is. And it doesn't have to be YouTubers either. And that's a great way to help support them. And then when you come to Prime, you'll want to provide your driver code because those are, if we're working with potential drivers, it brings great drivers into the Prime family. So
I will make a note. We had to add this a couple years ago, but it has to be before we process your application. So we had some people trying to cheat the system that had already been, they're trying to convince people that applied and already gotten approved, and they weren't the thing that caused them to be interested in Prime. So yes, you can add it if you forget it, but it has to be before we run any background reports. Wah, wah, wah. There's always somebody that has to run it for everybody else. But yeah, if you have any questions, like you said, you can reach out to me directly, communications@primeinc.com, and I can double check to make sure that you listed the right one and they got credit for your, we do have people that list like YouTube names. So we try to go through and catch them, but there's some YouTube names that we're like, who is this person? So, and then there's no driver code on the YouTube channel. We try to figure it out, but occasionally we just don't know who to give credit to.
Million Mile Man, it's all about the ink.
Okay, they said that he said there is a drive-in. That's news to me. I've been here 10 years.
If she's not familiar with it, it's probably
There could be some out there, but we don't have a division. There's no drive-in division to run in. Unless it's just started. Well, maybe I was on vacation last week, so maybe that's when. Yeah, and then Jenna already answered this, but health insurance, if you're a company driver, there's a 90-day waiting period. The 401k is a 6-month waiting period. All right, and the interview with Robert Lowe, I see that question here. I'm on some emails and they're trying to figure out a time, hopefully next week, but it keeps getting pushed back.
He's
a busy man, and he had that surgery, and
yeah.
Okay, is it possible to get your endorsement through Prime Inc? No. If you're talking about tanker, you have to go through your DMV for that. Hazmat has to go through, typically it has to be a certain, I don't even know if it's your DMV for that. Like I know you can go through the local place down the road for your hazmat here, but you have to get like a background check. Do you have your hazmat?
No.
Okay. Yeah. We don't require it anymore.
And I don't want it.
So yeah, it's not a ton of freight, but if you have it, it helps you just be open to more freight. So we encourage it, but we're not currently requiring it.
There could be some benefits. I just don't want to have to drive around cities and around tunnels, but that's me.
I am in CDL School part-time in New Jersey. Does Prime offer tuition reimbursement, and are New Jersey residents still prohibited from leasing? So yes, we are hiring for CDL School graduates. If you come in with your CDL and we're the first company that you come to within 90 days of graduation, you'll come in as a C seat, you'll do 3-day orientation and then 40,000 team training miles under TNT. And we offer up to $1,500 in tuition reimbursement. There's no contract with us. You get paid $500 each month for the first 3 months you're here to get that tuition reimbursement. And we are currently not allowing independent contractors in California and New Jersey, so that part's correct. Scott said, are you going to force vaccines for your drivers? No, they are not mandating it at Prime. And we'll do one more. Silent I said, I don't ever give my driver code so no one can say I do it for the money. Yeah, we have some people that they're like, oh, it's okay. I'll just talk good about Prime, but I don't need the money. I'm like, you should get paid.
I love doing YouTube and I love making money. So I'm going to do both.
Yeah, take advantage of it. And like I said, it's a win-win. It's a win for Prime. It's a win for the driver. It's a win for the new driver coming in, because typically from what I see, like especially with Junior and you, and there's a lot of drivers that they communicate and they say, hey, I have a problem with my trainer, or who do I go to with this? And all hours of the day, you're kind of helping facilitate questions when people don't know where to go, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's not just YouTube videos. For some of us who are getting a lot of referrals, we're putting in a lot of work and time. Jenna's on the phone every day with referrals.
Can I refer myself as an applicant? No. You have to be a current Prime driver, and you have to be an A through C seat. So if you're coming through the Prime training program, you can't qualify until you get officially hired, which is when you get your CDL. Yeah, we have people I just had somebody recently that was like, I'm a big YouTuber, can I refer people? I kind of wish we did that, but it would get a little chaotic, and we like keeping it in the family because you guys know what you're selling, or not selling, but telling people. And you can say, hey, I'm a Prime driver, this is how many miles I'm getting, this is how much money I'm making, this is what sucks.
We can vouch.
Yeah, you can vouch and tell the truth, and we like keeping that in the Prime family, so that way you know it's legit.
I know we're at 37 minutes.
Yeah, one more question. Kevin said, do you cover rental cars? And that's a great question, because yesterday we did hear from our enterprise rep that they are starting to see a rebound on rental cars and more becoming available. So we are working through enterprise. We just started doing that this past year. And then there's been a shortage of cars, but we will try to find you one. If we can't, we'll buy you a bus ticket, or you can drive in or have somebody drop you off, and we'll reimburse you for the fuel if you provide the receipts. And the same thing with the rental car. If we do get your rental car, we pay for it on our end, and then you'll keep the receipts, provide those upon orientation, and then you'll be reimbursed once you get your Com Data card. Okay. Headed to Pittston on Sunday, finally making the first step. Woo! That's awesome. Pittston's a great terminal. I'm sure you've been up there.
Yeah. We spend
It's
a
like
lot more time in Pittston than we do
each terminal
Salt Lake
has its own vibe. I've been able to go to all of them, and they're all a little bit different, but feel the same. It's weird. Pittston's like real quiet. I always feel like it's very quiet.
It's very pretty up there in the trees. Yeah. I love it.
They have great Italian food around there. Just saying, if you want some Italian
You can bobtail to Walmart.
Can you?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know where Walmart's at.
It's
on that main road right there.
Right past Pilot, like a mile or two up the road.
Nice.
So.
All right, heading to Springfield tomorrow, Destiny. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. All right. Jamie said, I've been in touch with the recruiter and plan on coming out to train in September, setting the pre-trips on video, but while I'm there, can I physically train up for this as well? For the pre-trip, so once you get to orientation, if you're coming through the Prime training program, they will do orientation, and then while you're waiting on a trainer, which sometimes can be up to a week, they will continue to train you on site. And that's the number one thing they focus on, is that pre-trip. They'll take you out on the pad, and if you see like videos or photos, you'll see sometimes there's a lot of drivers around one truck. That's what they're going through, is typically the pre-trip. But you can watch our video on our channel. We go through the whole thing with David Beinecke, which works in our Prime training department, and that's what you want to memorize, is that video. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Got anything else to add?
No, be safe, make good decisions, and drive to thrive, guys.
All right, drive to thrive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute. Okay. I gotta come up with a cool tagline.
I end every video with that, and if I don't, someone says, "Well, you don't want us to thrive anymore." So now I'm
that shows that I don't ever make
committed.
it to the end of the video. We have so many drivers that make videos, so I'll watch the beginning. Especially, I was telling them, you put one that we ended our lease, and I was like, "What the heck?" And then as soon as I was like,
my clickbait.
Oh, yeah, it's clickbait. All right. I was trying to come up with something creative, but I got nothing. Stay safe out there. Super creative. Bye, guys.
Thank you.